Last time on AutomaTitan Cracks One Out, we opened a new series by taking a look at 2016's Doom, a horror game in which you, the player, are the avatar of death. Today we're going to flip the script and crack one out with an actual horror game. A pants-shittingly terrifying one, in fact, that comes from perhaps the most well-known science fiction horror franchise ever conceived by man, and the subtitle guy is too scared to play. Alien Isolation. I think it's fair to say that, after the train wreck that was Alien's Colonial Marines, pretty much everyone had written off the video game side of the Alien franchise. We all sat there, saying, "Welp, that's that then. No more Alien games for a while. Not after that shit show, I swear. Not one bloody dev understands what made the first two movies good." But then, something happened. Creative Assembly, more famous for the Total War series, announced they were making an Alien game. And yes, that was Alien, singular, not aliens, plural. It was going to be something we've never seen before in the history of gaming. A game based on the first movie in the franchise, not the equally amazing James Cameron sequel. So, boring walking sim horror game then? Yeah, no, not at all. Not even a little bit. Creative Assembly went and made a true Alien game and made the Xenomorph back into what it was always supposed to be, the most terrifying creature to ever stalk the galaxy. You literally can't help yourself, can you? So let's have a look at what makes Alien Isolation into such a masterpiece. For starters, let's talk about atmosphere. Very funny. Now, clearly this is a survival horror game, so the atmosphere needs to be perfect. Get the atmosphere wrong, and you end up with something that's less survival horror and more boredom simulator. So thank God Alien Isolation manages to fucking nail the atmosphere. First, we have the title character, the magnificent bastard that is the Xenomorph, the perfect organism. Its structural perfection is matched only by its hostility. We'll go into why the big penis-headed bastard makes this game so unique in a minute, but for now, we'll simply say that the game wouldn't have worked if they hadn't gotten the Xenomorph right. And they got the Xenomorph horribly, brown trousers inducingly right. Then you've got the androids, and if the first Alien film taught us anything, it's to never trust them. Well, it's no different in Isolation. Actually no, it is different in Alien Isolation, because in the film, Bilbo Baggins schemed and plotted while hiding his nature as an android, whereas the androids here will walk up to you while you're completely calm and say,
"You're becoming hysterical,"
before straight up trying to murder you. Crichton never tried to kill anyone. Well, not on purpose anyway. So basically, you've got a whole slew of shit androids who want to kill you. You've got an 8-foot tall killing machine with a phallus for a head who wants to kill you. You've got a load of trigger happy survivors who will gladly kill you. Well, put it this way, they don't seem to be interested in talking to me before they shoot me. Oh, and their gunfire attracts your friendly neighbourhood alien murder bastard, as does pretty much any loud sound, so good luck. Meanwhile, all you've got to fight back with is a flamethrower against a perfect organism that, in fact, can't be killed, only scared away. And so, the atmosphere is one of constant dread as you're being actively hunted by a creature that will never stop. Sure, you can drive it away with fire, but you're never truly safe, and it will be back, just like its brother from another mother on the big screen. And speaking of the big screen version, there's another element to the atmosphere that we haven't talked about yet, and it's an element that gives Alien Isolation an edge over literally every other survival horror ever made. You see, Alien is regarded by many as the greatest sci-fi horror movie ever made. So in order to make the scariest game ever, all Creative Assembly had to do was, well, make it be like Alien. To help them do that, 20th Century Fox sent them around 3 terabytes of original production material so that Creative Assembly could dissect literally every bit of the production, from the set design and lighting to music and costumes, to perfectly evoke the look and feel of the 1979 original in the game. Everything from the CRT monitors, to the music, to the dingy corridors, to the design of Mr. Cock for a Head is finely tuned to make you sit there and go, oh cool, I'm in the first Alien movie. Oh shit, I'm in the first Alien movie. Hide! It's simple really. Want to make the scariest game ever? Then take away the M41A pulse rifles and make people feel like they're in the first film. Pants shitting will ensue. However, it's not just the aesthetic that links the game to the movie. No siree, it also slots perfectly into the existing lore of the franchise, filling out the missing story of what happened between the end of Alien and the beginning of Aliens during Ripley's 57-year-long hypersleep. You play as Amanda, Ripley's daughter, who canonically died of old age while her mother was lost in space. Frankly, letting us play as the daughter of possibly the greatest character in all of science fiction was a stroke of genius, because it turns out that she takes after her mum in all the best ways. She's resourceful, tough, and keeps going no matter what unspeakable, unkillable horrors are thrown in her path. So basically, we're playing as Ripley. It might not be Sigourney Weaver, but it's definitely Ripley. Well, a Ripley. Wait, Amanda Ripley? A Ripley? I know it was an accident, cause James Cameron named her in his sequel, but still. And so, as well as being shit your pants scary, the game also serves to bolster and enhance the existing lore. By letting you play as a firmly established character, albeit one who is already dead by the time of Aliens, and who only ever appeared as a news article in the director's cut of that second film, Creative Assembly slotted the narrative of the game in perfectly with what we already knew about the universe. It adds to the universe without once detracting from the core story of Lieutenant Ellen Ripley, or the lore of the most terrifying organism to ever grace cinema screens. There's no badly lit confrontations with cinema's second most iconic angry alien. There's no badly written Joss Whedon fanfiction. There's no signs of Ridley Scott getting dementia and contradicting his own original movie. And there's no fucking black goo. There's just you versus the perfect organism. Its structural perfection matched only by its hostility, unclouded by conscience, remorse, or delusions of morality. Because that's what it comes down to, isn't it? If you're making an alien game, then the single most important and crucial thing that you must do is get the Xenomorph right. Get it wrong, and it won't be an alien game. It'll be some random bollocks where the monster happens to have an unusually phallic head. So as I said earlier, Creative Assembly had to get the Xenomorph right. And oh dear lord, did they ever get it right. It's fair to say that the Xenomorph in Alien Isolation is one of the most dangerous threats I have ever seen in a video game, and the key to that is the AI it uses. People often talk about the NPC AI in games, usually in terms of it breaking, or just generally being useless, and a famous example of that is actually found in the previous Alien game, Aliens Colonial Marines, where the AI was broken by one sodding typo that caused the Xenomorphs to not act like Xenomorphs. Compared to that, well, compared to the AI in any game actually, the AI in this game Xenomorph is a peerless masterpiece. So don't expect the alien to follow set patrol routes, or behave according to a limited AI script. Instead, expect it to actively hunt you, wandering wherever it fucking likes on the map and turning up just when you don't want it to. With no set pattern and no predictable pattern of behaviour in any situation whatsoever, it becomes a constant threat, leaving you feeling tense and hunted for the entire damn game. Yep, that'll work. Well, right up until the alien realises you're doing that, drags you out and murders you. Yep, that'll work.
Oh God.
Well, right up until the alien realises you're doing that, drags you out, and etc, etc. Yeah, you see, you're not learning the enemy's behaviour, it's learning yours. So basically, nowhere is safe. Still, at least it's only one alien, right? Yeah, there's an entire fucking nest in the bowels of Sevastopol Station, including an unseen queen, and worse than that, facehuggers. Facehuggers that can rock up anywhere and are, as far as I can tell, an instant game over if they manage to grab you. Oh, and that's on normal, by the way. When you stick the difficulty right up to the hardest settings, the AI gets even more complex, and the titular cock-headed extraterrestrial gets even more relentless, so you'll permanently be about 3 seconds away from a hideous death. As a mutual friend of both me and Subtitle Guy said, this is the only game where he's had to pause just so he could breathe again. What was it Ash said in Alien? Ah yes.
I can't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathies.
So in conclusion, Alien Isolation is really fucking good and shit your pants scary. It's the best Xenomorph related game I've ever played by a country mile, because it's the only one where I truly felt like I was facing off against science fiction's, no, against cinema's most iconic and horrifying alien nightmare. Although sure, there might be a few teeny tiny little flaws. It's quite a long game, for instance, and spending 17 hours scared out of your wits might get a bit tiresome, but none of the complaints are deal breakers, or, in fact, particularly big complaints in the first place. So rating time! Creative Assembly has made a masterpiece, and so, our rating is, You Are My Lucky Star. And on that lovely reminder of Sigourney Weaver and her knickers, it's time to end. Or at least, it would be, except for the fact that we're going to do something unprecedented on the channel. You see, as far as I'm concerned, Alien Isolation is the best Xenomorph related game ever made, so I reckon, well, in truth, Subtitle Guy told me we were doing this, and threatened to nuke me from orbit if I said no. Look, basically, we're doing a comparison with what may well be the worst Xenomorph related game ever made. And so, in a momentous fuck you to the established format, we're doing a 2-part Cracks One Out. Think of it as sort of a Cracks One Out number 2, if you like, and that may well be the perfect name for the next episode. Because... may God have mercy on our souls.